Thank you for staying with us. Now, Nigeria's political space is witnessing a gale of defections, all switching party allegiance in rapid succession. And so we'll be looking at the gales of political defections in Nigeria and Nigeria's democratic growth. With us in the studio this morning is Pastor Douglas Mwatu. He's the founding pastor of Fountain of Rehoboth Ministry. You're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, recent defections cites a lot of reasons, some alignment with federal government agenda and a whole lot of other reasons. But I'd like to know, what would you say is the reason or the reasons for these mass defections in the political space?
Okay, one of the reasons for defection is basically what I will call political agenda of the individual that is defecting. For example, if it is a state governor or a local government chairman or any elected person, he has his own vision and mission. And whenever those visions and missions are being challenged in a political platform, they tend to seek for a place or an environment that can accommodate what they have in mind for their people. So that's basically one of the reasons, to protect their political ideology, what they believe as a politician or as an individual. You know, one of the reasons people join political parties is because of ideology. This is my ideology, this is what I believe governance should be. And whereby the political party someone have joined is no longer going in line with their visions and their ideology. Individuals seems to look somewhere else. So that's one of the primary reasons for defections.
So do you think that these defections are solely for the ideology's sake?
Basically, that's what it is, and personal interest. You know, politics is all about personal interest. You can't rule it out. And that personal interest is rooted in ideology, political ideology of an individual.
All right. Now, what does all this movement and defection actually reveal about the state of internal democracy in Nigeria?
I don't think it's going to strengthen the internal democracy in Nigeria. Rather, it will weaken it. It will weaken it. Because when you talk about defection is all about somebody abandoning his allegiance to a political party or to an ideology, to something else he believes that will serve his interests. Whereby personal interests override the general interest of the public. That is completely failure at arrival.
All right.
Now, we're seeing that it seems as if the opposition parties are weakening because of the defections. Now, how would you say that it is affecting Nigeria's democratic growth? Would you say that we're drifting to a one-party state? Because that seems to be the concern of most Nigerians.
But if you look at things generally, you notice that from 1999 up to now, we have always run a one-party system with different names. It's a one-party system we've been running with different names. I will give you a perspective to that. Somebody can be in party A working for party B. That's still one-party system. We will call it now unity in diversity, one party in diversity. You are in party A, but you are working for party C. And again, somebody else is in party B working for party C. And somebody now is in party M working for that same party C. In reality, all of them are members of one political party. You see a particular political party sponsoring someone to go and contest election in another political party to destabilize that political party. So we have not truly practiced democracy. Thank God you said Nigerian democracy. I like that definition, Nigerian democracy, because we have a different kind of democracy we practice.
All right. Now, the Information Minister Idris actually said that by 2026 that Nigeria will actually have about 30 APC states. You know, is this possible? What are your thoughts, and why is there no major pushback from the PDP?
Well, part of the reason is personal interest. People go to where their interests will be served, and this issue of national cake will make it possible. Is any society that is driven by money and personal interest, this is what you will get. This is what you will get. People don't stand for the general good of the public. They look at their personal interests, then look at the monetary aspect of it. Our politics is still driven by money, not by values. And you hear them, some of them will even say publicly there's no morality in politics. It's all about personal interest. So if my personal interest is immoral, then I stick by it, then I will perpetuate immorality and criminality in the system. It's a pity, but that's what we have.
So with the rate of the defection in several states and lawmakers backing up governors, are you agreeing to what the Minister of Information, Idris, said, that Nigeria would, occupy 30 states?
APC will occupy 30 states.
Yes, APC will occupy 30 states come
It's
2026.
possible. It's possible because our politicians are greedy, they are gullible. So if you dangle a carrot or a banana, they will jump at it. Because the system is driven with money. As long as, don't blame the politician, also blame the masses, the grassroots people. Because our politics is where belle face, and the politicians, strong politicians and people in authority understood that where belle face. So they keep people hungry, then give you a condition to be fed with your own food. They give you a condition to be fed with your own food. So they make sure that Nigerians are hungry. They now give us terms and conditions. And one of those terms and conditions is that you will abandon your political ideology, which is called defection, and join us so that you can share in the national cake.
Right. Now, you've said quite a number of things here. First of all, you said that our democracy is driven by money.
Yeah.
Not values.
Not values.
And you've also said that Nigeria is not fully practicing democracy. So I'd like you to tell us, first of all, why do you say that Nigeria is not fully practicing democracy? And how did we get to the point where our politics is now solely driven by money and not values? What is the way out? Okay.
Why I said that Nigeria is not practicing full democracy, if you go by what democracy is in the Western world, you find out that we fall far below what it is. We have our own kind of democracy, which we practice, and that's what we are witnessing right now. This is the Nigerian kind of democracy. It differs from country to country, but they still call it democracy. But I don't think there's any country that is truly practicing democracy. Because in Nigeria, why I say we are not practicing democracy is that in democracy, you have the executive arm, you have the legislatures, then you have the judiciary. Are they independent? Are they independent? They are not. They are not.
All right. Now, nobody is actually paying attention to the masses, and by masses I mean the electorate. So what do you think are the ripple effects of all these political changes, hustle and bustle from one particular system to the other? What is the ripple effect on the masses and the development of some of this states in Nigeria?
The effect is already seen. Nothing will be done. Projects will be abandoned. Attention will not be paid to the economy. A lot of things will go wrong because they will be doing their politicking and taking the money and wasting the money and also wasting time. 4 years will be over, another 4 years will come. They will still be doing this, their defection, without paying attention to governance. And it's just because of the kind of system we run and the culture that we have built over the years. People are not speaking out against some of these things. Nigerians need to do the basic thing. I don't think part of the cause of this thing is just political interest, is system, our political system. For example, we need to look at the issue of defection from the law. Is there any law in the country that states how somebody can defect? Is there any law that is against defection? If there are laws, why are the laws not being implemented? That goes back to what I said. 3 arms of the government ought to be independent. Is the judiciary independent? Is the legislatures independent? Is the executive independent? It's obvious the executive run the show. So this is what we will get. The ripple effect is that Nigeria will be underdeveloped. Okay?
Yes. Now, you've mentioned the arms of government and how they are not fully independent as they should be. And some people are of the opinion that the center is too strong, the center being the federal government. And we're also seeing that in line with these defections, most of those leaving their parties are moving to the center, which is the APC, the ruling party at the moment, for various reasons. Some say for federal resources, some are for political survival, some are for the benefits that they would get, from the center.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this dynamic that is currently playing out in our political system?
What we need to do is that people talk about electoral reforms and all those kind of a thing. I think that what Nigerians need right now is not any electoral reform. I would say that what we need is a new constitution. Because that's where this whole thing, all these lapses and trouble you are seeing in this country is. We need a new constitution. Nigerians need to come together and have a constitution. If you read our constitution, I guess the preamble will say something like, we, the Nigerian people. The present constitution we have right now, did we, the Nigerian people, come together to write it? Because if you don't have a constitution that is well grounded, it's like you have a building without a strong foundation and you keep adding block, saying you are building a skyscraper, but without proper foundation, it will collapse. It will collapse. It's just a question of time.
All right. Now, do you think that rebuilding or getting a new constitution is possible when the major players like the legislature and the judiciary are the major key players? When they are, okay with the state of things in Nigeria, do you think it's even possible?
It's possible. It's possible, and it doesn't necessarily need to come from the people who are in the legislature and the judiciary. You need to come from the masses.
Now, there is something striking that Peter Obi said. He said nobody can capture Southeast with defections. So do you think that Nigerians will actually vote for individuals now rather than parties?
The issue we should ask is that, do our vote count? In this age of glitch, do our vote count, or is there not going to be another glitch? No, we should be able to tell ourselves the truth in the issue of rigging. Is there any law that punishes anyone that is found rigging? Or a political party that is found rigging an election is established that they rigged an election, and there's a law like if a political party rigged an election, they will be banned for 8 years. You see, we Nigerian people need to come together and get a constitution and decide whether it's democracy or whatever we will call it. Otherwise, you see what we are doing. We are just playing.
So in his opinion, he's saying that the parties does not matter, that what matters is the individual that we're voting.
I am asking, if you finish voting, will that vote count? It's not an issue of whether you are voting for a party or you are voting for an individual. If you vote for an individual, will that your vote count? Won't there be another glitch?
Well, besides what we're actually saying that a new INEC chairman is to be put in position.
The trouble is not a new INEC chairman.
Right.
The INEC chairman We work with people. We work with people. Who are those people? What are the laws governing them? These are the things we should check. That's what I'm saying. The problem is we need a new constitution.
All right, now let's move away from that. Now, Nigeria is a highly religious country, very religious. And we still see issues that you've mentioned, like issues of morality, godly behavior among our politicians, and even among the grassroots, because you earlier mentioned now where Bele face, you understand. So why is it so? What is the religious community doing or not doing in this situation? Why do we still have these issues and these lapses?
Why we have the issues that if you are going to talk about nation building, there are 4 major institutions you should look at. And once those institutions are diseased, the nation will be diseased. For example, the religious institution, the government itself, the educational institution, and the law, including law enforcement, the judiciary, and the rest. Okay. Once these institutions are mentioned, they are the foundation, they have issue. Forget it, the society will have a very serious issue. The religious institution, many people might not agree with me. I'm a pastor, but I like speaking the truth. Nigerian religious institutions have what I call a very deadly disease that is eating it up. Very deadly disease. All our politicians belong to one mosque or one church. Do they look like people who belong to those institutions, or the mosque or the church? The question we should ask, what are the messages coming out of our pulpit? What are the kind of messages we preach? Is it money driven or value driven? When we gather in the church, what do we tell the people? Any nation, no nation is rich by their valuables. Nations are rich by their values, not by their mineral resources, by their values and philosophy of living. How do we think as a people? So if you look at the things that is going on within the religious circle, the pastors and the imam are even the major politicians than the politicians.
So what then can we do, seeing that even the religious institution that is supposed to be the foundation of morals and is supposed to guide these things, when it is already in a state of moral decline? What does that say, you know?
If you study the Bible, God always leaves himself with a witness, and God always leaves himself with a remnant. There's a remnant, especially among the young people. There's a remnant, and those remnants are the ones that will challenge the system. There's a revival coming. There's a reformation coming. There are people who will say, we will not take this. And it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. There's a generation of young people that are saying, no, we can't continue this way, right in the church. I might not be able to speak about the other faiths, but I'm telling you, right in the church, there's a generation that is challenging the system already, that is telling the fathers, we appreciate what you people have done for us, but from here, there have to be a change.
Well, now, earlier, when we were speaking, you made mention of the government or, you know, weaponizing poverty.
Yeah.
So that was what you said. But now, in line with this, do you think that the government is not paying attention to the priority, or let's say what the masses actually need, you know, rather than paying attention on defections, election, and 2027, that is still far to come? And do you think that some of this crisis that we're facing in Nigeria is politically influenced?
There are many factors contributing to Nigerian problem. But one of those factors is politicking and our style of politics. Because our style of politics is to keep them poor to rule them. Keep them poor to rule them. This class system. So we will not want to eradicate poverty, because if we eradicate poverty, we will not have anybody to rule. That's the ideology and the philosophy behind our politics. Because somebody must show you level. You know, this will show you level, I pass you. That's why we have something like I pass my neighbor. You see, that's our philosophy. We will not do road so that I can buy a Jeep and show you level. If we do the road, everybody can drive with his bicycle or this. We will not want certain things to work so that we can have an edge over others. That's the reason. That's the reason. All these things is just the way we think, our philosophy. Until we change the way we think, we can't change the way we do politics.
Okay, now let's put the Southeast, or say the Igbos, in play right now. Do you think that we stand a chance in 2027? Where do you think, where are we when it comes to development, inclusion, politics, and all that in Abuja and in federal level?
I think that the Igbos have not done bad, no matter what anybody thinks. The Igbos are the unifying factor of this nation because they are everywhere. They are everywhere. And any group of people or tribe that think that they cannot do with that they will not be able to do with the Igbos is doing that to their own detriment. The Igbos are faring well, but they need to do more in terms of inclusiveness. They need to close the gap. They need to build bridges. Though there's a perception about Igbos, okay, that perception came immediately after the war. So there's what is called Igbophobia. People are afraid of an Igbo man. The Igbos have to deal with that. It's all over the nation. It's all over the nation. So the Igbos have to seriously deal with the Igbophobia.
All right, now, finally, what would you say is the way forward when it comes to our democratic growth as a country, seeing the political scene now, the defections and all the alignments that are going on ahead of 2027? What is the way forward? What is the solution to the, what solutions would you say would be helpful to the issues that we have currently?
Solution number one, truth. You can't build a nation on lies. Truth. And one of the truths we have to tell ourselves is that we need a new constitution. We are just lying to ourselves. We know this thing is not working, but we keep lying to ourselves. You know the reason we lie to ourselves? I'm the one sitting there right now. The thing is in my favor. And because the constitution is not what it's supposed to be, I take advantage of that to enrich myself.
All right. So,
but when I leave government, I still come back to complain about the same thing other people have been complaining. So we need to tell ourselves the truth. The solution Nigeria need is the truth. Is the truth.
All right. All right. Also, lastly, can you do a little analysis on the opposition party, the major players and their place come 2027?
I don't think we have an opposition party. Do we? I've told you that what we have is one party in diversities. We don't have opposition parties. The political class are united. Is actually the political classes versus the masses. We don't have any opposition party. The only opposition party should be the masses. If you look at it critically, it's the masses. But the masses does not have what it takes to even become an opposition, because the masses are gullible. They are gullible. We're belly face.
All right. A very big thank you to you, Douglas Vincent Mwatu. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you so much for being a part of our discussions this morning. Very insightful and engaging. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Now keep watching as the morning show continues, as we'll be connecting to our Abuja studios for more insights and discussions. I am Uchenna Chimdi Oluoha.
And I am Lilian Wali. Enjoy.